February 17th, 2021 marked a really sad day in our history as America. That day was the passing of Rush Limbaugh. Hi, welcome back to the Colorblind Architect Podcast. I'm your host, David, and today, while I'm waiting in line to get up to the ski resort, after all, this is Utah. It just snowed a ton, so of course I'm going up, and I'm gonna ski some powder. I'm gonna have a good time, but I would be remiss if I did not express some of my feelings about Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh was such an important character in American history, not just in radio history, but he really made such a huge difference in American politics for 32 years. I remember, all the way back in the late 80s, when my parents first started listening to Rush Limbaugh, I was 9 the first time I heard Rush Limbaugh on syndicated radio, because my parents were some of the first to start listening to him in 1988. And as a result of them listening to him often, I would hear him often. And so I kind of grew up. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh. I grew up listening to his analysis and his funny spoofs and so much of the great things that he did as an entertainer and an informer. And it really helped me shape my own political identity. I was already kind of geared that way anyways, because after all, my parents, they were conservative Republicans for as long as I've been alive, at least. And they obviously raised me with many of those same beliefs. And a lot of kids, when they grow up in a conservative household, a lot of them will kind of turn away from it. In my case, I had a little bit of a rebellion in my teenage years, but for the most part, I studied those various issues out. I studied the theory behind a lot of the positions, and that's why I consider myself a conservative today. And I don't necessarily say that with, any kind of pride over the name, because I could care less about what it's called. It's about the fundamental principles. And again, that goes back to Rush Limbaugh. The reason why Rush Limbaugh was such an important character was not only did he create a completely new industry. The talk show host industry in this country was largely invented by Rush Limbaugh. And the fact that he was able to also help so many people think beyond what the news media was saying. Because, we often hear, the media says this, the media says this. Well, why do we say that? I don't think in other countries they think of it the way we do here in this country. In this country, we literally think of there being like this monolith of mainstream media being like this, propaganda voice. And a large part of the reason why we're able to see past the propaganda and distinguish the ridiculous horribleness that the mainstream media is thanks to Rush Limbaugh, and the fact that he really he opened the door to it. He helped us see. He took the scales off of our eyes. And I have to say, I'm extremely grateful that in my life I've been so um, touched by his guidance. And so I'm not going to make much of a long post today because largely I really just wanted to make this a tribute to Rush Limbaugh. Truly an amazing person, and whether or not you agree with him, I don't agree with everything he says, and you don't have to. That's the beauty of America, is we have this thing called freedom of speech, which means that we can disagree with one another. We don't have to be all in lockstep. And that's one of the reasons why it is so disturbing what's going on with the Democrats and the left, and some of the things that oh my goodness, some of the things that I, on another video maybe I can get into it, but I don't really want to in this video. But some of the things that Joe Biden said in his most recent CNN town hall, oh my goodness, just makes you just go, are you trying to sell us to the communist Chinese? I really don't understand what on earth he's thinking. But he's obviously not thinking, because he just likes that money. He loves his corruption. A lot of people would try to argue that Rush Limbaugh was, all just in it for the money as well. Well, he did make a lot of money, but honestly, it would have been so easy for him to modulate his views and to steer it in a direction that would have made him wildly popular. He was so likable and talented that had he just sold out and gone with the leftist line, he would have been way more popular. He probably would have even ended up being like a nightly news anchor or something like that. I mean, he was that talented. And yet, no, I mean, he kept with his own show, doing his own thing. And yeah, he still made a ton of money. But like I said, if you're in it for the money, a lot of times you'll easily be swayed to sell out and leave what you should know, if you're principled, is the right thing. And in the case of Rush Limbaugh, sticking with his show, sticking with his staff, being so loyal and so committed to that makes a big, huge difference. Anyways, that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for listening. Peace out.